couches on the side of our bed. and and like I would show you guys a picture, but I'm not because it just looks tacky as heck. Well, thank you so much, you guys, for joining us today for another episode of Coffee Talk. This week's episode is going to be something really exciting. Last week, we talked about and I hate saying it, but the red flags. This week, we're actually going to talk about the green flags.
Yay!
Little tidbits and things that we think are green flags when it comes to pet parenting. Um, and there's so many green flags, you guys. I mean, just the fact that you have an animal and you're taking care of it and you're loving that animal. I mean, that's so much more than what most of these animals out there experience now, the ones who are in shelters. And so, pat yourself on the back for just even providing them the bare necessities. So yeah, all right, let's get into it. We have an exciting show for you guys. After that, we're going to talk about more of behind the scenes with my pet peed, and then we're going to get into our hot takes.
Hot takes. I'm so excited.
Hot takes.
Today's going to be a great episode. I am very, very excited. And I think that the first one that I want to kick it off with as a green flag is when people sleep with their pets in bed. And I know some people think it's gross, and I get it. I do. But I just think it's so cute because it's like cuddling a real life stuffed animal. Like they're just so like loving and adorable. And I mean, I don't know. I think it's a green flag.
It's a total green flag. So as you know, we have five Rottweilers, five big Rottweilers. One of them, he's kind of isolated. He's in a kennel because he's still going through decompression. We haven't really introduced him properly to the other dogs. He's going through heartworm treatment, so we're waiting for all that to be done for him to be fully 100% healthy before we do the introductions. But the other four, they sleep in the same bedroom. They sleep on the bed, and we have a king size bed. But still, even with a king size bed, not all of them can fit. So what we ended up doing, Allie, was we put two couches on the side of our bed, and I would show you guys a picture, but I'm not because it just looks tacky as heck. Like it's just
Oh my
tacky and
gosh.
ugly. But like I hate it. Like it's terrible. However, it's so functional because like the dogs can now sleep on either side, and Goose, my biggest one, who's like 120 pounds, he now sleeps on the couch that's right next to my side, and then he goes to sleep and he puts his paw on me, and he rests his big head like right here on my kind of on my shoulders. And it's probably, even though it's the tackiest thing ever, it's the best thing we could have done for our dogs. We love sleeping with them.
No, it really is. And now it leads to the perfect opportunity for someone to gift you guys like a California King mattress instead, so that your dogs can actually be with you, you know?
Well, I actually did the measurement, and I don't even think like we
Cal-
need. Yeah, I don't think a California king is the same size as like our king size and our two couches combined. Like that's what we need. We need the length of one couch, one king, and another couch, and that's what we need to satisfy like all four and potentially five soon Rottweilers sleeping in the bed with us.
That is
Mhm.
so funny. I just can't I wish I could see that. Like I'm just like so like in my head I'm like I want to like see what these beds look like. Like this is so that's just
No,
so so
you're
funny.
never gonna see it because it's so ugly. It's very, very ugly.
That's so funny.
Um, because on the couches too, and it's not like they're neatly laid out, but on these couches, I have to have blankets for the dogs, and they're all chewed up and they're mismatched, and they like their pillows, and it just, I don't know, they're just too spoiled. But that is definitely a green flag, and I am guilty of that.
That's
So
so funny.
our next one is, I guess, a green flag for me regarding training would be getting training at an early age, because like with dogs, like if you sometimes you can't help it, especially if you rescue them at whatever age they're at, right? The fact that you're rescuing them yourself, like that in and of itself is a huge major green flag. But let's say you get a dog that's a little bit younger, whether you rescue or purchase, whatever, and you have a puppy. That puppy does need to be trained, you guys. That's so important because then it opens, if not, it opens up the door just behaviors that are just not wanted, such as chewing furniture, chewing shoes, marking in the house,
Mhm.
and uh, having like severe separation anxiety disorder, not adapting well, whatever it is, it lends to opening up the doors for some of those issues to happen. And you really don't want to exacerbate that habit. You want to nip it in the bud, and then you want to make sure that you're continuing to enforce the good behaviors, the positive behaviors. And so I would say one thing that's really helped us, all of our dogs have been with well, no, no, yep, all of them have been trained by a dog trainer, and what
Great.
we do is we just find one, that has, good reviews, we talk to
Mhm.
them, we've talked to several, and then we choose the one that best fits our lifestyle as well as our personalities, because you yourself, you're also working with the dog trainer.
Mhm.
And yeah, we do weekly sessions with our dog trainer to help reinforce the positive behaviors, and yeah, so it's been great with working with a trainer.
I think that's awesome. I have one more quick one to add, if that's all right too.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it is incredible green flag when you are patient with your elderly pets
Hmm.
because they really need the patience and the grace. And I think that it is really awesome when you are willing to give them that understanding. I think that when you go through the training, like you said, they do, if you've had your pet their entire life and you've got them trained and like who they are deep down inside and that, they know to not go in the house or to do whatever, and you start to notice that they do, I think it's a major green flag that you don't get frustrated and sit and be like, well, we got you, we did the training, we did all this stuff, like why is this still happening? And I think it's nice when you can take a second to recognize, the other factors, and just giving your elderly dogs a little patience, I think is a very great green flag.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I saw this. I I have to look it up again, but basically it was a theory, and it's like the 1 day theory, and what it was saying is that, you know, with your senior dogs, it doesn't happen. It happens over time, and it's not apparent right away, right? But it happens over time where things start getting uncomfortable for your senior dog as they get older, just like it would for an aging person. And you see it little by little, and because of that, like take the time to enjoy and to appreciate that they're still alive and they're still able to do certain things, because it's not going to show. Like, so for example, if your dog gets older and it's uncomfortable for them to walk, you know, unless they're in pain, they're not going to show it right away. And so take that time to just enjoy where they're at, 1 day at a time. And so that's something that when I saw that, it's like, oh wow, it just made me want to go kiss my senior dog Mo on the nose.
That's so
Yeah.
sweet. Oh, that's awesome.
Awesome. Well, yeah. So great covering these green flags. Let's talk about what happens behind the scenes. I think it's super important to talk to you guys and tell you a little bit more about my pet peeve, what we're doing, what we're currently seeing. We're not going to spend like a whole coffee talk session on it, but just with every single episode, we wanted to give you guys an update because we care about you, we care about our customers, and we want to let you guys know what we're doing behind the scenes and what's going on. So, Allie,
Absolutely.
yeah, tell me about you. Tell me about what's going on in your world, in the
Yeah.
influencer brand world.
Awesome. Yeah. So I've been working on our influencer program for a few months now. I've been really like honing it in kind of these past couple weeks. We started back a few months ago just with like the preliminary conversation about it, and it's been progressing really well. I've had the joy of getting to talk to a few influencers and people who've reached out who use my pet peed or are interested in create UGC content. So it's been an incredible learning experience for me as well. I have loved getting to meet some of these people who are interested and just get to know them and build that relationship with them. So that has kind of been the bulk of what I've been doing project wise. That's kind of been my big project to do. So I've just been really focusing on trying to get that ready to present and hopefully to have as another means of connecting with our My Pet Peeve community members. So
That's awesome. I can't wait to see it. I know you've been working really hard at that. And yeah, I mean similarly, I'm building out the rescue piece. And you guys, just so you know, I am not the expert on animal welfare. I mean, just because I love animals and I'm a part of rescue does not mean that I'm the expert and I know all the ins and out. It doesn't mean that any of us at My Pet Pede are the expert, but that's why we're doing this because we're trying to find out. And so, I'm talking to different types of organizations. I'm doing we're going to release it soon, but it's called To the Rescue. It's a new podcast. Super exciting for you guys to hear the stories of people that are in the animal welfare space, from shelters, rescues, nonprofit organizations. We all the way from owners of animal sanctuaries, like the difference between an animal sanctuary and a rescue and a shelter. It's all fascinating to learn about. And then, there's one person who I interviewed, and she's on the board of get this, an animal, a doggy couture fashion show that's a nonprofit. And the funds from this, they help people who are in situations where they need emergency surgery for their pets, but they can't afford it. And so they give out essentially just grants in a way. And so it's incredible to hear about, all these different types of people in all these different fields of animal welfare, and hear their stories about how they're all coming together as a community.
Yeah, that's incredible. Oh, I'm
So
so excited. I'm so excited for the first
yes,
episode. I can't wait. Oh my goodness.
definitely
Well, that's
cannot
awesome.
yeah, I definitely cannot wait to release that. Probably will release it. I think, like, because just like I'm working to launch our To the Rescue program. Probably by end of March, just so I can have something very consistent for you guys, and have a lot of really good content. So just currently right now finding people in that space to interview and talk to.
Yeah,
All
absolutely. If you're
right.
a rescue and you're watching this, you know who to
Yes,
reach out to.
absolutely. All right, Allie, it's time. You ready?
Yes.
It's hot
Hot
take. You
takes.
missed it. You missed it again. I
Wait, wait,
can't.
one more time. One more time. One more time. Okay, okay.
Okay, three,
One,
two. Wait, no, no. Counting down from
okay,
three.
okay,
Okay,
okay.
okay. Okay.
Three,
Three, two,
two,
one.
one. Hot
Hot take.
takes. We'll get it, guys. We'll get it. I promise. One of these
Yeah.
days.
Well, one
Um,
thing.
so the okay, so the first one that we're gonna start off with today is, we get this comment a lot. Now, it doesn't necessarily come in this exact form, but I am gonna paraphrase it for the sake of not going on forever. But a lot of customers say it's not working, the smell is getting worse. Yes, it is working, but that will happen. And what you are smelling, I want to make it very clear. What you are smelling is not My Pet Pede. My Pet Pede is odorless. If you take the cap off the bottle and smell it, you will smell nothing. It is odorless. Once you spray it on the area you're treating, as it's picking up and lifting that stain and that odor from your surface, that is what you are smelling. The stain and odor from the mess that was made by whomever it was, whether it was pet, animal, whatever. But that is why sometimes it will smell worse before it smells better, but that is how you know it's working. If you smell it, you know it's lifting it out of your carpet because it's getting rid of it, and that's why you can smell it.
That makes sense. We get that a lot. And even when I spray it on things, I'm just like, yeah, it doesn't smell that great, but that smell will eventually dissipate and it's not the product itself. So you guys are in good hands.
Exactly. Do not worry. But again, if you do, like I said, always here to answer that question on social media, but do not panic.
Mhm.
The next one, does the stain totally disappear under the UV light?
Ooh, that's
So, that's a good one. And I like this one because we have an ad that kind of talks about our UV, like the UV lights a little bit. And so the UV light is kind of a catch-22. So it'll show you where to treat, which is awesome. And most stains will go away altogether under the UV light. But sometimes, because of the salt
Mhm.
crystals or just other aspects of the stain, like certain molecules, those may not always break down. But as long as it's essentially clean to the naked eye and you've extracted all the layers, you don't smell it anymore, you can declare it a success at that point. It's pretty safe to say. But sometimes you're correct, it won't, but it's just mainly because of the salt crystals. It does not mean that the product hasn't worked to remove your stain.
Okay, very interesting. And I have seen those type of comments where people are saying it doesn't completely disappear, but that makes sense. It's the salt crystals that are left over. And what I believe is, if you still see that and the salt crystals are left over, you can just clean it regularly.
Mhm. Yeah,
afterwards. Yeah.
absolutely. And this last one, how many applications does it take? So I like this one because I think sometimes a lot of people get a little bit confused because they think that it may just be one application, because we do have a lot of customers who submit very great success stories of the product working after one application. But from us, we always share that it usually takes anywhere between 2 to 5, give or take. So
Mm.
if it did not come out after your first application, please do not give up. Please don't think that it's not working or that it's broken or that something did something, because truthfully, every stain is different
Mhm.
and they react differently. So it's really important to just know that if it didn't work the first time, it does not mean it does not work. It still did lift a layer of the stain and odor. There just may be a few more that it
Right.
needs a little extra reapplication to get to. So do not stress.
And especially if it's an old stain, you guys, that old stain, like it's been there for who knows how long. You can't expect it for it to work the first time. You've got to spray it a couple of times. You've got to let it dry. You have to reapply. So use your best discretion, and it will be anywhere from 2 to 5, even sometimes more, depending on how long the stain has been there. If the stain has been there for years,
Mhm.
be realistic about it, right?
Yes.
So yeah.
And same, I do want to make this point too, real quick. Same with hardwood. Please, please, please don't think that it'll just take one application for hardwood, because it cannot be left on hardwood the same for the same amount of time it can be left on carpet. So it may successfully remove a stain from your carpet after one application, but because it can only be left on hardwood for 30 minutes, hardwood normally takes multiple applications. Unless it is like a brand new fresh stain that you like watched your dog or cat commit in front of your very eyes and you
Mhm.
get it immediately, it will most likely take multiple applications to get a pet stain from the wood floor, just because of how long it can't sit for.
Right. Okay, well, awesome. Well, thank you so much. Thank you guys for joining us. And Allie, it was a
Yeah.
pleasure like always. It was so funny because earlier we took a little detour and we did like a little podcast on Zillow listings. Totally not related to my pet peeve, but
No.
very
If
fun.
you guys could be a fly on the wall for CC and I's conversations, I think that you would be like, we could talk about anything and we get on these like tangents about like the funniest things. So trust me, we could have like 1,000,005 podcasts about different things that we talk about, but we appreciate you guys showing up for this one.
Yes.
So thank you
Yes.
guys.
Well, you guys have a good day, have a good weekend,
Yes.
and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.